Good morning. Good morning. It is I don't know what time it is. About 2:40, 2:39, 2:40ish AM. Dark as usual. Can't make the storyline up. On my way to the gym. If you notice something, and you can use this, because I know some people, they don't notice anything unless it's a rattlesnake just literally slithering in front of them, and then they still don't notice it until they hear the little rattle of its tail. But if you haven't noticed something, is that my attitude and my demeanor this early in the morning, 90% of the time, or 9 times, 8 times out of 10, is going to be really good. And I believe that's because I understand how important this day is, this morning is, and where I'm going to. Sorry, I just ate some very good oatmeal. And where I'm going to, and how detrimental that is to building my day out off of this workout, this exercise, this getting up, this exploring my mind, this time free from hearing kids yell, from having any requests put upon me, from hearing my phone go off. My phone better not go off at 2:30 in the morning. It better not start ringing. If it does, that's a whole nother situation. I think you people who done got them 2:30 calls know exactly what I'm talking about. It ain't all good. So last night I went to midweek service, and I think it's a great thing when you can hear the word of God being spoke about from a woman's perspective. I think anytime, anything you can hear from a woman's perspective, and you can understand and relate to it, because given the fact men and women are very much wired differently, if you can relate, that means you're in agreement with it. That's what that means, because if you can't relate, then you're not in agreement. You're saying, hey, that's crazy, that's far out, I don't agree with that. That's what that means. So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it, and it gets a little hard. Now, I'm one of these people that have always been told, and I say that, I say I haven't been told, but I'm one of these people that believe that you should be able to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, meaning that if no matter how hard you get hit, you should be able to still rebound yourself back into a fighting position. And that opinion is not always held by everybody, and that's probably usually by the people who want the help. And the pastor, she says, stop making excuses. Stop it. Those excuses are holding you back. Those excuses are stopping you. Those excuses are the reason you're not growing. I can't name one part of life where making excuses is acceptable. And it's crazy, because earlier in the day I was at a Starbucks and I was sitting there doing some work, and I got 2,000 satellite office all around the valley. That's called Starbucks. This lady came in. I assume she was with her daughter. The thing that stuck out about this particular lady and her daughter is the lady had no arms and no legs. You know, by normal standards, she didn't have any arms and any legs, and she was sitting there, and she was attempting to get a lid off of a drink that she had. And while she was attempting to get this lid off, she was using like a nub of her arm, or a nub of her limb, and she was embracing it between her cheek so her mouth could move it like this. And I wasn't really paying attention. I mean, I didn't see things, and it was whatever to me. But the lady spilt it. I don't know. I would have helped it. I would have helped somebody with 2 arms and 2 legs. I got up, grabbed some napkins and wiped it down. Said, "How you doing?" Started wiping it down. "How you doing?" She says, "Oh, I'm doing great." Blah 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 blah. And I gotta tell you something. Everything inside of me wanted to really ask, "How is the quality of your life?" I mean, she had to been in her maybe early 30s, which means she had endured through all types of things in her life. She had endured through all types of things in her life. And I kept thinking, this isn't something that happened by accident. This is something that she was born with. So it's not something she grew to understand. It's something that she was born with. How does it feel to sit somewhere and people be able to physically see what may appear to be a deficiency? And we're not talking about people who have deficiencies inside, meaning they have low self-esteem, they have lack of feeling of who they are. I'm talking about somebody outwardly who's missing their arms and their legs, and they're sitting in front of me, and I'm sitting there thinking, do you know that you're missing your arms and your legs? But I could tell she was, I don't know what it's called, but you have like little parts of your limbs somewhat. But for the better part of it, you don't. And she had her arm on the little, she was in one of those mechanical wheelchairs. And she was figuring out how to do on her cell phone, and she was figuring out how to take a drink out of her cup, and she was figuring out how to take the lid off and wipe something up, and she adjusted. I don't think you get to that age in your life with that type of outside, because you gotta remember, people are cruel. People say things that are mean, do things that are mean, and now you're in a position where everybody can see what would be most people's deficiency inside, outside. And yet she didn't kill herself. She didn't look like life had no meaning. Now, what she goes through on a given basis, I don't know. But imagine that you had to live your life like that and make no excuses. But here most people are with college degrees, 2 arms, 2 legs, fully capable of doing anything, and yet do nothing, full of excuses and complaints. I challenge you to stop complaining today. Meaning the next time a challenge arises, something that you feel like you should do, you can do. But you don't make an excuse on why you're not doing it. Because at the end of the day, if the lady with no arms and no legs can take care of her own needs, how much more can you do for yourself? And when I hear that from a woman's perspective, and it aligns with me and I agree with it, then I know that it's a realistic possibility for not just men and women, but children too. Excuses stop you from your greatness. Excuses pretty much put limits on what you can do in an unlimited world. In an unlimited space. There's no limit on your space. There's no limit on what you can do. The only limit there comes when you make an excuse. That's it. And starting today, because what better day is there than today to eliminate the excuses? You have all the options and all the power in the world at your disposal to make a decision to just do it. From where I'm sitting and from how I see things, that's a pretty simple situation to be in. But only if you feel like today's the day you want to make that change. Have a blessed and wonderful day.